Hey everyone! If you haven't noticed yet, the Wings of Fire 100 Hybrid Challenge is making a comeback, so I thought I'd shoot my shot in this massive project. But I decided to give it a twist. I want to test my drawing abilities, so I will be drawing every single hybrid in the Wings of Fire graphic novel art style, which is Mike Holmes, who drew the graphic novels. In this challenge, I also had to design my own Hivewing, Silkwing, and Leafwing since those aren't in the graphic novel yet. That was a bit tough, but really fun to do. So, I already did the bases, or the purebred dragons, so I want to talk about how I designed these first 9 hybrids and why I added certain features. I want them to be close to canon designs, but add enough variety so I can incorporate new things into the hybrid designs as well. So, with that said, let's get started. The first hybrids up on the chart are the Sandwings. I sketched out all of these hybrids on my iPad, and I spent a long time getting the style right for each one. Each hybrid is dominant in their own tribe with recessive sandwing genetics. So, the first drawing here is a Mudwing Sandwing hybrid that I decided to name Granite. Since he's dominantly Mudwing, he has a prominently Mudwing head shape and style, but he has a Sandwing sail and sharp scales down his neck. I wanted to color him kind of like dried mud or dark sand. I wanted to make sure that he had those dark scales of a Mudwing, but was still light and pale like a Sandwing. So, we don't have a lot of knowledge about hybrids in Wings of Fire, but from what small descriptions we do have of reading about dragons and possibility, it's safe to say that there is a dominant trait among hybrids. As we often see, some hybrids are being mistaken as purebred, before our POV character realizes that this Mudwing Dragonet has a tail barb or sail on his head. So, that's what I'm trying to do here with these designs, where at first glance you think it's a normal Seawing, but actually he's part Sandwing. So, up next with these hybrids is the Skywing Sandwing hybrid. I decided to name this guy Cougar. I really liked how this drawing turned out, and I think his Skywing shape looks really close to the actual graphic novel. I colored him like a dried out sunset. He was honestly one of my favorite ones to draw. He has a very unique scale pattern, which would be interesting to see in the actual graphic novel. So, moving on from him is our next hybrid. We have a Seawing Sandwing hybrid up next. I went with the name Cod for this one because I feel like cod are a very pale and lightly colored fish, which would fit perfectly for a Sandwing Seawing hybrid. She looks like a cod underwater with pale yellowish gray color and blue undertones. Cod has a Sandwing sail along her neck but Seawing fins on her belly. She also has Seawing glow scales along her face and other areas of her body. So, for our next hybrid is the Icewing Sandwing. I named this one Thaw. I named her this because ice starts to thaw in heat, so it's a hint to her hybrid makeup. Icewings and Sandwings both have very pale scales, so I tried to do a simple mix of pale sandy yellow and pale icy blue. She seems like she would live on a beach somewhere in the desert, similar to Jerboa, but close enough to the Ice Kingdom where it's not too hot. I'm not a fan of super bright or dry characters, so this isn't my favorite design, but it's always fun to draw in the right style. I might be going through these a bit quickly, so let me know if you want me to slow it down in the next video. Or if you like this fast-paced type of video, let me know that too. So, for the next hybrid of today is our Rainwing Sandwing. I love drawing Rainwings in Mike Holmes style, they're so fun to draw. I named him Apricot based on his orange and greenish color. Almost all of these hybrids have Sandwing sails, by the way. I feel like even as a recessive gene, those sails would be somewhat prominent. I love drawing them as well. This Rainwing was so fun to draw, and I'd imagine that he is a fruit gatherer and farmer, and he often trades exotic fruits with other tribes. And for our 6th hybrid of today, it's the Nightwing Sandwing. This guy has mainly dark scales, but of course, he has to have that paleness of a Sandwing. His scales are a mix of sharp Sandwing scales and curved Nightwing scales. I went with the name Hourglass because they have sand in them, but hourglasses also have a dark demeanor about them in most stories, so I think this was quite fitting for his Nightwing and Sandwing heritage. I think he would go by the name Glass most of the time just to shorten it up and make it sound better. And I think he would live in the desert with most other Sandwings. Now, for the Pantalan tribes. This is a Leafwing Sandwing hybrid. I went with the name Pond to keep it simple. I also designed her to have sort of a dry autumn theme where her yellow sandy scales can look like old leaves. I've said this a lot, but Pond was also one of my favorites to draw. I really like how my Leafwing design turned out. Her sail along her neck slowly turns into the Leafwing sails, which I thought would be a cool aspect to see on a dragon. Overall, she was super fun to design. Now, moving on to our 2nd Pantalan tribe, it's the Silkwing Sandwing. I love Silkwing so much, but to be honest, a Silkwing in Mike Holmes' art style was very tricky to design. I still don't feel like I quite have it right, but I'll keep practicing it. I named him Locust because they often have pale yellow or grayish coloring to them, and because Locust is a bug, I thought it fit well with the silkwing half. And for the very last hybrid of today, I have a Hivewing Sandwing. Similar to the silkwing, the Hivewing was very difficult to design. I'm still working on fixing it, so I named this guy Dustby, for obvious reasons. Hivewings are very tricky to design for me for some reason, but I think he turned out okay. So let me know what you thought of these designs and what I can do better. The next part of this series will be the Mudwing Recessive Row. Thanks for watching.